Hello and welcome to 7 Days of Science. In the headlines this week, researchers have found that ancient Native American ancestors were specialists at hunting mammoths. The lifestyle of the giant extinct bird Argentavis has been investigated, the past habitability of Venus has been studied, and much, much more. The greatest Christmas present a science lover could get is perhaps the Curiosity Box. This video has been made possible by Curiosity Box, and if you want to see what's in their winter box, then there's a very fun video of me, Ben and Doug unboxing it at the end of this video. Check out our affiliate link below and use our very special code for a very special discount. Our top story this week is a study that's been published on the diet of the Clovis people, ancient Native American ancestors who lived between 13,000 and 12,750 years ago during the Pleistocene epoch. Evidence of these people's activities have been found across North America, mainly in the form of tools as well as animal butchery sites. Many different studies have focused on trying to work out what the Clovis people were mainly eating, with some research suggesting they were likely quite generalist foragers, hunting small game, fish, and probably lots of plants. However, others have contended that they were megafaunal specialists, subsisting mainly on Columbian mammoths and other large herbivores. These previous studies had used data from the animal bones found at Clovis culture sites, experiments of Clovis weapon functions, and other indirect lines of evidence. But this new research is the first time that more direct evidence of Clovis diet has been obtained, using stable isotope analysis of human remains. So far, only 3 Clovis-aged human skeletons have been found. One of these is a very young child called Anzik-1, who was 18 months old at the time of death and was found in Montana in 1968. Anzik-1 was male, and he seems to have been deliberately buried as he was surrounded by tools and his bones were stained with red ochre. This new study analyses the isotopic values of Anzik-1's bone collagen, revealing what he had been fed by his mother before his death. It turns out that these Clovis people were eating a lot of large herbivores, with mammoths by far making up the majority of their diet. Elk were the next most significant part of their diet, followed by bison and possibly American camels. Smaller mammals made up a much less significant part, and so overall this does seem to support the hypothesis that the Clovis people were specialised mammoth hunters, primarily hunting megafauna rather than being generalists. These people used sophisticated technologies to hunt the massive beasts, and this lifestyle is also consistent with other evidence indicating the Clovis people seasonally migrated to follow the movements of megafauna. A really fascinating study that tells us so much about the way these people lived so long ago. Next up in the news, 12,000-year-old canid remains discovered in Alaska suggest that humans and dogs lived together in the Americas much earlier than expected. The study analysed the bones of members of the Canis genus that were discovered in Swan Point, Alaska. The excavation began in 2018 when a bone from an adult canine was uncovered, which was radiocarbon dated to be a staggering 12,000 years in age. In June 2023, the lower jaw of another canine was discovered at a nearby site, which was dated to be 8,100 years old. These bones look very similar to those of the grey wolf, which still lives in Alaska today. But chemical analysis from the bones indicate that the animals had regularly eaten salmon throughout their life. The researchers have interpreted this as clear evidence they relied on humans for their food and were effectively domesticated dogs. This is quite significant as it pushes the evidence for domestication of canines in the Americas by around 2,000 years. But while behaviourally they're very similar to domesticated dogs, anatomically, they can't be traced back to any known population of dogs. The lead author on this paper has explained that this may be because they were tamed wolves rather than true domesticated dogs. So an incredible study that further expresses the importance of dogs to the indigenous peoples of the Americas. Also in the news this week, a new species of flying pterosaur has been named, and it comes from the early Jurassic of Argentina. It's been called Melkamter pateko, and it's known from a partial skull, some teeth, vertebrae and other bone fragments. Melkamter is a significant discovery, as this is now the oldest known member of a pterosaur group called Monofenestrata, a major lineage of these flying reptiles that includes the more derived pterosaurs, which had shorter tails and generally grew to larger sizes compared to the pterosaurs that came before them. So Melkamter provides another piece in the puzzle of working out this major evolutionary event within the pterosaurs, as well as adding to the still very poor record of the flying reptiles from the Jurassic of the Southern Hemisphere. Also in the recent news, paleontologists have examined the brain structure of the enormous extinct bird Argentavis, one of the largest flying birds that ever lived. This bird had a wingspan of potentially up to 8 meters across and may have weighed as much as 80 kilograms. The scientists examined the shape of the brain case of Argentavis using CT scans taken from a fossilized skull and compared it with living birds. Argentavis is thought to be related to modern New World vultures, and indeed the brain looks quite similar overall. However, the regions of the brain relating to vision were actually more developed in Argentavis compared to the vultures, suggesting the bird relied more on vision than smell to locate food sources. The researchers therefore say that Argentavis would most likely have scavenged like the related New World vultures, but it also might have been a specialised kleptoparasitic bird, relying more on its vision than its smell, and stealing kills from other animals. Looking at the inner ear structure of the bird, they also find that Argentavis was not an acrobatic flyer and would have instead soared over open landscapes, much like modern vultures do too. Some exciting dinosaur discoveries have been made in southern England this week as well. Paleontologists have investigated the diversity of meat-eating theropod dinosaurs in a geological formation that's part of the larger supergroup known as the Wealden. The Wealden was home to various spinosaurs, including baryonyx and the recently named Ceratoseucops and Rhiparovenator, plus various tyrannosaur relatives, raptors, other kinds of meat-eating dinosaurs, and lots of flying pterosaurs. This new study looks at some fragmentary theropod dinosaur teeth that come from a particularly old part of the Wealden, which had not previously been investigated in detail. Using various techniques, including AI-driven machine learning, the researchers found that this older part of the Wealden was also home to spinosaurs, tyrannosauroids, and raptors, plus some other mystery theropods that haven't been confidently identified yet. These dinosaurs, although only known from the isolated teeth, seem to be different species from the others that lived later on. Unfortunately, until better and more complete fossils are found in these older rocks, they cannot yet be named. Still, it shows that the characteristic theropod groups of the Wealden had already appeared early in this part of the Cretaceous period, more than 130 million years ago, and shows that there are still new spinosaur species out there to be discovered. Also, this is Swimbo, the Spinosaurus. He's an adorable plushie that we've made in collaboration with the Plush Foundry, and he's limited edition. There are only 5 days left to get your very own Swimbo, so check out the link in the description to get your own. Turning now to some living dinosaurs, US wildlife officials have announced that the world's oldest known wild bird had just laid an egg at the age of 74. This bird is a Laysan albatross, and she's named Wisdom. Wisdom was initially banded and began to be recorded by scientists back in 1956, and since then has raised as many as 30 chicks. She returned to a wildlife refuge at Midway Atoll, part of the Hawaiian archipelago, and was seen interacting with a male there. Laysan albatrosses mate for life, and Wisdom previously had a partner that she'd been documented with since 2006. But sadly, he has not been seen for a few years now. Hopefully, Wisdom and her new male will be able to successfully raise their new chick after incubating the egg for the next couple of months. What an adorable couple. They should be both voted couple of the year. I don't know if that's a thing. We should make it a thing. And next up, it's some unfortunate news for NASA's Artemis program, which seeks to get humans back to the moon this decade. They've had to delay their plans for the Artemis 2 mission all the way to April 2026. The Artemis 2 mission was originally supposed to launch in September of 2025 and would not have seen a moon landing, but instead a moon flyby, with the astronauts not leaving their capsule until they returned to Earth. This delay has been caused by an unusual amount of damage sustained to the test capsule's heat shield during re-entry that saw it excessively eroded, with some bits even flying off as the unmanned Orion capsule re-entered the atmosphere at the end of the Artemis 1 mission. The team will need to make some changes to either the heat shield itself or the nature of re-entry for the Artemis 2 mission, and NASA says they are making this delay as the safety of their astronauts are the highest priority. The delay means that the Artemis 3 mission, which will bring humans back to the moon for the first time since the Apollo missions last century, has also been pushed back to at least 2027. In other news, a study has been published this week in the journal Nature that has evaluated the past habitability of Venus and concluded that our sister planet has never been habitable. It's quite an understatement to say that Venus is currently an uninhabitable planet, but it has been thought that it could have been more Earth-like in the past. The researchers have analysed the chemical composition of Venus's atmosphere today, and the modern atmospheric destruction of certain compounds like H2O and CO2. In order to sustain a habitable atmosphere, Venus would have to have had a specific level of volcanic activity that would have had a much higher amount of steam in the volcanic gases than would have been present. How many times can you put have in the script? From this, they have determined that Venus's surface has always been too dry to hold large oceans that would have been needed to kickstart life. Venus sits on the very edge of the habitable zone, but this study shows that the climate was the limiting factor on the habitability of Venus. This goes against the leading hypotheses on how Venus evolved since its formation, as the team has taken a very different approach with this analysis of Venus's current atmospheric chemistry. Also in the news, Iceland has decided to continue its highly controversial practice of hunting whales. Its outgoing government has issued a whaling permit to 2 whaling companies for the next 5 years. This will allow annual catches of 209 fin whales and 217 minke whales during each year's whaling season. This is particularly tragic news for fin whales, the second largest animal on our planet, which are listed as a vulnerable species. In 2023, Iceland suspended whaling for 2 months after a government-commissioned inquiry in 2022 concluded the methods used did not comply with animal welfare laws. The independent report by the Icelandic Food and Veterinary Authority on whaling highlighted an incident in which a whale took 2 hours to die, with most whales taking on average 11.5 minutes to die, suffering immensely during that time. As a consequence of the report, there was a much shorter whaling season of only 3 weeks, but in that time, 23 fin whales were still killed. One of these whales was pregnant, so her unborn calf was also perished. The issue of a 5-year permit is a big blow for conservationists, who will continue to advocate for the whales. Finally, in the news this week, a somewhat controversial study seems to have redrawn the picture of what neurons look like. Traditionally, the long cable-like axons extending from the main body of the neuron cell have always been pictured as smooth. But a new technique used to view these cells under an electron microscope is said to preserve the fine details that are usually destroyed by other methods. Researchers have therefore looked at neurons in mice and found that the axons in fact have a string of pearls appearance, with the size and placement of the pearls seeming to change the speed of electrical signals travelling down the axon. A very interesting paper, though some other researchers do suspect that the pearls may simply be a side effect of the new technique used to view them. It'll be interesting to see how this develops. Well, that's it for the news this week. I hope you enjoyed learning about everything that's happened in these last 7 days of science. Just quickly before we get into the curiosity box opening, we wanted to say that we have now revamped our Patreon. It's now officially the 7 Days of Science Patreon rather than only the Benji Thomas Patreon. And we've got some great bonus content for you that you can check out, including a new monthly series where the 3 7DOS presenters discuss our favourite news stories of the past month. The first episode is up there now, so go on, have a look. And now over to the Curiosity Box opening.
Hello and welcome to the... Why am I doing an intro? You've already watched 7 Days of Science. Now we're going to unbox the stuff. Well, I can't see. Oh, wait, right. Okay, we know how to do this now.
It's a love heart! Sorry, okay. Right, do we put the guides down?
This is the guide. Which is the guide? This is a longer guide. Why are we not... Your stickers? You love stickers?
Oh,
Look at her face. She's just kind of gone non-verbal.
Finger traps. Oh no,
Are they those? Are they those? Like,
oh, they're the puzzles.
We should have got like a
Look, well, did you read the...
Shall I get the explanation?
Why are you?
Oh.
Why? You don't like that? Okay, I quite like it. What are you doing?
I'm gonna see what the wires are. It's like 7 days of science, but 7 days of puzzles.
7 days of puzzles?
Yeah.
7 days of puzzles.
Oh, you guys want
These are quite Lovecraftian,
nice.
aren't they?
Yeah.
They've kind of got that steampunk Lovecraftian vibe.
Yeah, this is where I'm vibing with.
Okay, here we go. This is like a steampunky one.
That's what's inside my head, actually. How did they get that?
Oh! It's like the Big Bang Theory.
What is it? It looks like some scribbles.
No, I think it's an atom or something.
That would make more sense, yeah.
There are two in one.
It's the internal structure of an atom as told by our expert.
By Theory and...
Oh, wow.
Oh!
No way.
Very cool. Is that a question mark? Oh, it's a 7.
No,
I thought we started. I don't know what this bit is.
Yeah, should we get into the next bit? What's that?
The chocolate mold.
Oh, chocolate
Chocolate
mold.
But I just want the packaging. Look how beautiful.
It does look
It's
very
not
cool.
picking it up very.
I don't know how they've managed to do this, but it's a silicone mould that makes whatever chocolate you bake in it have a rainbow sheen to it.
Oh, really?
I don't know how.
That's very cool. Should we give that a go?
Yeah,
And
I
then
think we should
when we
make
do, we will put it in whatever 7 Days of Science that we do it.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it must
Interesting.
be the structure on
Let's
there.
you do
that
it
does
tonight
that.
and send it over.
Yeah.
Book
Now
time!
this looks very cool.
The clock that went backward.
Albuquerque, New Mexico. They made it into a real place. I thought that was just in Breaking Bad.
The clock that went backwards. Stories by Edward Page Mitchell. Where's my camera? Ooh, very pretty, very lovely book. Again. Oh.
Wow. So
What is it? A bunch of short stories. Oh.
Looks like, yeah.
Yeah, you love
That's
this.
really cool.
Don't
That's
you?
what I've been collecting a bunch of old science fiction, like short stories and books in general. So that is.
This is in alphabetical order. What's the thing that's time?
Chronological.
Chronological.
Yeah.
It's in chronological order as well.
Bruh, you did a history degree.
Wow,
Yeah,
let's see
I
what's
know.
in there. The Devilish Rat. That sounds good.
That's fun. The Man Without a Body.
The Cave of the Splurgles.
What?
Yeah, that's what
The
it says.
Devil's Funeral. What a title.
The case.
The Balloon Tree.
Ah.
The facts
The
in
Flying
the
Weathercock.
case.
Oh wow. Old Squids.
Old
and
Squids.
Little Spell-
At the title.
there's
Oh,
some
it's
title
got a
pages.
thing. It's got a
Bookmark.
bookmarky thing and it's gold. But we can't read this all now because we've got to get stuff done.
Might be able to, possibly. I think we're excited about the last thing.
We're so excited about the last thing. Everything else is getting thrown off the desk.
Is this an actual sundial? Like, did they just put a
It
sundial
is
in
a
there?
sundial that actually accurately tells the time.
So I don't need my watch anymore.
So
Take it off.
Throw that
Take it
away.
off. Get off. Get off.
Oh my god.
We don't need. Where's your watch, Amelia? Take it off.
Too bougie.
We're true fans. All right, come on then. let's get on with it. Where's the
Will this
instructions?
fit on my wrist?
What?
Will it fit on my wrist?
What that?
No, the sundial.
No, I don't
I
think
need
so.
a watch now.
Well, you've just thrown yours away, and we've got to share this for the three of us. So that's the bottom. You love the bottom.
What does that mean?
Assemble the. Okay, so you need to take that, and you need to put the two things that aren't this in it.
Okay.
Up these things. So it's N. Which way? Are they both the same?
Oh.
Great, thank you. It's that way around, yeah?
Yeah.
Agree? Okay.
Oh. Yeah. So you need
Oh,
the
no!
screws.
And then, okay, can you start screwing it in? This requires 3 people to do, apparently.
Apparently.
Where's the Allen key?
It's just. I think it's gone underneath. Oh no, there it is.
Help me. I'm dying.
I mean, people are dying.
Insert 2 gnommonon screws into the gnommonon holders. I've
There's
got
Alan.
Alan.
Where?
Give me a gnommonon.
No, exactly. I need the Allen to get it
Oh.
out because it's stuck.
This one. Thank you.
Order. The issue is that it is winter and it's like 4 o'clock.
Oh, that's a good point. There you go. It's fully set up.
Cool. Okay. So
what-
if there was any sunlight, you could tell what the time was.
What's the time, fellas?
Unfortunately, it's too
It
late.
is- it
we
is
know
way
it's
too late.
a bit too late in the day. So.
Um,
Anyway, this is really cool. I'm gonna go and read all this now.
I'm
very excited
gonna
about this.
want to have it after you finish with it.
Yeah, that's alright. The clock that went backward.
I'm
Um,
going to want to read that as well. It's
Yeah.
all by one man, apparently, who was one of
Is
the
it?
first, I think the first scientific.
Oh wow.
Yeah, who was this person? I don't know them. Maybe I should.
Probably
Where's the
explain.
Because I did do a history degree. I also did
Well,
an English
you
degree.
guys.
Yeah.
So I
No.
should know these things.
Mitchell was a 19th century newspaper editor and one of the earliest science fiction writers. These stories include the very first documented science fiction stories of scientific teleportation, faster than light travel, cryostasis, surgically altered personalities, and other now common tropes.
That's
These
cool.
are very cool. Good job, Edward.
Thank this guy for Star Trek then.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. We can thank him for most.
That is a man
That's
drinking
cool. Crystal Man.
the Crystal Man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing of the Winter Curiosity Box. And again, please do use our special code FOSSIL for some great discounts. And again, yeah, thank you for supporting this episode.
Get yourself a Curiosity Box now.
Please.
Indeed. It's a
with,
great
with the
Christmas
link
present.
below. It's a great Christmas present.
You can set this up on Christmas Day. Think about that. That'd be fun.
If there's sun,
If there's sun.
Yeah.
if you live underground,
Or in England. You're
If there's
out.
no sun, you can read this book.
you might need a light.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm sure
You
you'll
don't
find
need a
one.
light to do these.
Oh, we should. I love these. These are fun. Look, I'm going to do it straight away just to prove how easy they are. How do you?
Not sure that's
Oh, I did it. Easy.
Oh, nice.
Oh, well, that must have been the easy one.
Yeah.
How are these? Oh yeah,
Oh.
this one I can do. Look at that. Actually, I was not expecting that to work. I thought that wouldn't happen.
Done.